What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 589th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. Look, it's a big number. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
This is not quite coming out on Halloween, but it is coming out with time to say that if you're not on green grass, switch to green grass.
It's a Sleep reference, Steve, in case you missed it. We're talking about Pokemon Sleep.
I might have missed it because everyone froze.
You froze for a second. I looked over and you were...
You both were frozen for me. I couldn't tell if that was my internet.
That's your end. That is your internet. Because Hannah and I were having a party.
Yeah, we were both here.
Celebrating all the things were going on behind us. You missed it.
I guess I did. Greg here.
I am here. It is cold. I can't feel my hands.
It is cold. Speaking of it being cold, no, I don't have a good transition here. We have some Pokemon news for
We have some cold Pokemon news. How's that sound? We're bringing you stuff from 97.
There is a Halloween event currently happening in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. By the time this episode goes up, there should still be about 24-ish hours of that event left. But before we get to that Halloween event, there is a Halloween event starting in Pokemon Sleep, but it is also Good Sleep Day today, the day we're recording this. So that's exciting, I guess. But more importantly, if you're playing the Halloween event for Pokemon Sleep, you'll want to start on Grass Island. I don't know what it's
Start
called.
on green
We
grass.
just talked about it, and you were frozen.
I was frozen.
You were frozen, and we already covered it.
And if you forget to start on green grass, you can use a ticket to move to green grass. They confirmed that on their official Sleep. It's not Twitter anymore.
Got it. It's like 100 points, I think, which
Something
you would get
like that.
2,000 points just for logging in 3 days because it's 500, 1,000, 500.
I think it might be a Diamonds ticket. I don't think you can use Sleep points.
No, I think you can because I bought it.
Maybe in the premium store.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Premium store. For, I don't know.
It was in the regular store.
Been on Green Grass Island for like the last month.
Yeah, I was on the beach for quite a while. Jeez. No, you were
that was
only.
me.
I had almost sleep drama last night.
Go on.
I went to hit my button this morning, and the button did nothing.
Was your thing dead?
Because it died at some point in the middle of the night. So I had to charge it to see at what point did my sleep button die. And it died at the 8 hours and 22 minute mark.
So if it dies, it still remembers your data.
Yeah, up until it died. I slept
that's
9
better than
hours
nothing.
last night, and I'm not getting credit for 40 of those minutes.
When you connect it, does it say that it died? Does
No, it
like,
just says
alert
there's a
you?
problem communicating. And
Oh,
then I
okay,
hit the
okay.
button, and it did absolutely nothing. I'm like, I think it's dead.
Yeah, so the easy travel ticket is 100 sleep points, but you only get one of them. It's at the very, very bottom of the regular exchange store.
Okay.
You gotta scroll all the way down.
And then you can buy more with diamonds
Yes.
if you need to.
Team never
But-
scroll. Just if it's not obvious, you're never going to find it.
The reason I knew that is because for the first time ever, I saw those on what was formerly known as Twitter be very positive that a mobile game made a good choice. Like, oh, you didn't charge us diamonds. You charged us 100 sleep points for an event that is coming up. I don't know how good this holiday event will be in Pokemon Sleep. Good Sleep Days are pretty solid. They kind of remind me of Community Days where there's just really no reason to participate. They're pretty easy to do. They're pretty...
No reason to
well-
not participate.
Yeah, they're well received. Everyone seems very excited about this Halloween event and the double candy and the hat Pikachu, all that stuff. So I guess we'll report back next week. But Yeah, Halloween event this week in Pokemon Sleep. Breaking news, though. I think beep 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 beep. Da, 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 breaking news. I think I figured out Pokemon Sleep. I think I figured it out. The typings, the sub skills, the skills. The calculator that we've been talking about that YouTube comments keep saying, "What is this calculator you keep talking about?"
You did a deep dive.
I did a deep dive. Yeah, I actually did this on my stream. My plan is to eventually make like a 10-minute YouTube video of like, here's everything in Pokemon Sleep for dummies. I'm the dummy, by the way, but I figured it all out. The first thing that maybe isn't obvious is that Pokemon are broken into 3 categories. If you didn't
It's pretty
read,
obvious.
nah.
It's right at the top.
Yeah, but you don't really think they do anything. So I think this is obvious. No, not obvious. What's the word? Once you understand that they're broken into 3 categories, then you can understand what skills you want with those 3. But that's hard to remember because there's a bunch of skills. So somebody made a skill chart of like, if you're berries, you want like these 5 skills. And that makes it so much easier to look at your Pokemon, which is, I think, that's the problem. This is the problem everyone has, is they have like 5 Psyduck, and they're like, well, this Psyduck has a couple gold skills, this Psyduck has a bad nature, but I don't know if the skills are good. I don't know if this nature is the best. Just looking at this chart, you can quickly realize that, okay, Psyduck is, I don't know what Psyduck is, skills or something. Psyduck is skills. So these are the 5 top that work with it. The other thing that the game doesn't tell you at all is that the level 10 sub-skill, the very first one you unlock, is so much more important than any of the other ones. So like Berry Finding S, which is like one of the best sub-skills, it's like a gold one. If you got it in like the level 10 spot, that is awesome. There's like a because most Pokemon games don't show you actual hard numbers for anything. This isn't an exclusive to Pokemon Sleep. It's like every Pokemon game is like, we love to have hidden information from you. But the whatever ends up being in the first level 10 slot is like 1.5 more effective, and if you had the same skill in the level 100 slot, it's 0.5 effective. So it really rewards that early game, and it goes back to helping you make decisions quicker. This also takes us back to the calculator and why the calculator makes sense or doesn't make sense. Because if you're assigning those skills to like an Absol, which I think Absol is actually skills, and then you switch to a different Pokemon and you're like, oh, the calculator's giving the same thing, it's probably because that other Pokemon is also skills, and that's why it doesn't change that much. That's why it doesn't change when you do like Spheal, Celio, Walrein, because they're all just skills and it's calculating that. You can also, on the calculator, I'll include the calculator in the show notes this week on YouTube, by the way, because now I understand it. And then the other thing about the calculator is, like, if you had like inventory size small, technically you can upgrade that to inventory size medium, and then you can upgrade it again to inventory size large. You could just do that on the calculator, because you can eventually upgrade those skills, and you can see like, oh, you went from B rank to A rank because you upgraded it. So like, just because you got like let's say you got like a shiny Pokemon and you popped it in the calculator and it was D, and you're like, oh, it's a D rank. Like, ideally, if you had sub-skill seeds and you upgraded them, you can just like go from small to medium on the calculator, because it's not going to change. It's only going to upgrade. And then you can see like, oh, I went from D to B. Okay, now I feel better leveling this up. The whole point of everything I just explained was, I promise you probably have really good Pokemon that you don't know about, because the game is so hard to understand just by looking at it.
It's complicated.
I just put the shinies in because they're pretty. and they walk around and I touch them and they give me stuff. And then sometimes I make food. And then I hit a button to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other big tip is that berries are for early game and cooking is for late game.
What are we considering late game?
Once you have more evolved Pokemon, more space in your cooking pot, good Magnemite, a lot of ingredients unlocked.
What is, I'm not sure what other people consider late game, but I get way more of my ingredients through cooking. Like I am making I'm making 20 plus recipes and then I'm filling the last like 8 or 9 with just filler. But I'm actually making recipes.
Oh, yeah.
I think really early on, you're making like whatever like 7 honey makes, like honey curry. And that is like okay. But when you start making there's again, I don't know the rest. Like there's one recipe that's like plus 800 and then there's another one that's like plus 3,000. And when you consistently start
varies,
making that,
I think, based on how many times you've made that recipe. And
Yeah.
you can't make a lot of the recipes if you don't have enough space in your cooking pot. And you can't make some of the better ones if you don't have some of the ingredients that you can only get by leveling up Pokemon.
yeah. But I think also the other problem with early game, I'm air quoting, is that you might not have a variety of those ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know. I'm like, most of my Pokemon are like maybe like level 18 and 20. And I feel like I'm going all in on ingredients. But if I look back like 9 weeks ago, I was just like using like auto cook because I didn't know what to do. So I think that's like,
Yeah, I mean, I just hit day 100 since I think I missed one day in there. And I made a dish this morning that was 38,000 sleep points to my Snorlax. That boosted me all the way up from Master 1 to Master 2 on my Snorlax. That's great, but I could not have made that without leveling up my cooking pot, without a Magnemite to boost it even bigger.
Or like a good camp ticket would boost it.
Or that, yep.
Yeah. It would be, I kind of like regret using a good camp ticket like week 2. Regret's like, it's not that big of a deal because I wanted to see what it did. But like when you're so early on in the game using a good camp ticket to like double your pot, it's like you're doubling it for nothing because you just started the game and you're like, you have like 2 Charmanders and they're just getting you nothing but sausage. You're like, what am I doing with this? If nothing else. Like I'm still there are still ingredients that I don't have. Like there's like leeks and I think mushrooms and stuff.
And a Slowpoke tail.
Those are more late game because you'll see like none of your Pokemon can get those ingredients until like you're level 30. I don't think there's a single Pokemon out there that like their first ingredient is like mushroom or Slowpoke tail. So those are even more advanced recipes. But it's a cool game. Every time I make a Pokemon Sleep post on Instagram, there's always people that are like, this isn't even a game. It's like, brother, you have no clue how deep this goes. This is, I got spreadsheets. I got calculators. I'm like comparing 6 Psyduck to figure out which one's going to the grinder and which one I'm leveling up. You have no clue. This is one of the most advanced games I've ever played. I'm sleeping good tonight. Anyways, shifting gears over to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There are new mass outbreaks. They announced more mass outbreaks. This is awesome. Again, I will say it again. This is something that should have been in the game 10 months ago. But they are doing... So the first mass outbreak we got was the Clefairy event. They made Clefairies spawn all over Paldea and Kitakami. This is great because even if you didn't have the DLC, you can hunt this Clefairy event, which Clefairy was part of the DLC. So, to the 5 people out there who are still like, they're selling us back Pokemon. I gotta talk to my brother a lot this episode. They've been selling you Pokemon for 26 years. Pokemon Red and Blue are not free. They've been selling you Pokemon for a long time. But if you didn't want to buy the DLC and you didn't have any friends to trade with for Clefairy, that would have been an easy way to be like, oh, here, I can get a Clefairy and I don't need the DLC to do that. They put it everywhere on the map, on the mass outbreaks. I personally feel like those mass outbreaks spawned more than a normal outbreak. I just felt like there was more Clefairy than there was like Flittle or Weasel, the standard Flittle or Weasel outbreak. And then they had a 5% chance of having a mark. So that was boosted, not the shiny odds. You could still obviously make a sandwich, have the shiny charm, shiny hunt it with the mark. The title power didn't stack with the mark, so it's still a 1 in 20 for that mark. For Clefairy, it was upbeat. For this Halloween event, it is crafty. But you could still get other marks. You could still get Humongo, personality, weather, sociable, or the upbeat mark. And again, in this case, it's going to be crafty. But instead of doing 1 Pokemon, they did 4. They did Phantump, Drifloon, Mimikyu, and Greavyard. So 2 of those Pokemon... 2 of those Pokemon were DLC related. 1 of those Pokemon were DLC related. Trevenant, or Phantump, sorry. But the other one, Drifloon, was version exclusive. So that was cool. So if you were a Scarlet player, that's probably not that big of a deal to you. But if you were a Violet player, that was the first time you could outbreak hunt Drifloon. And then on the flip side, in raids, they did a 5-star Mismagius raid where, yes, they've done Mismagius before. They actually did a Mismagius Drifbloom 5-star raid event like 8 months ago. So Scarlet players could get access to Mismagius again, but I think Violet players for the first time got the better deal of having Drifloon in the wild. So maybe the first W that Violet players have gotten, because they got screwed on everything else.
You didn't even get the good legendary.
They didn't even get the good legendary. Koraidon's the better legendary, unfortunately. Did you guys mass outbreak?
Heck no.
Not yet.
There's nothing I find fun about mass outbreaks. I'm going to be real honest.
Really? Here's a
no.
question for you, Greg. Did you like SOS? Did you like horde hunting? Did you like chain fishing?
No, I don't like any of it. It's just not.
I'm gonna say you're not a software setting fan either.
Not a huge. It's just not a huge. Like, the thing is, SOS felt much more set it and forget it. I really don't like how much I have to, like, really get on some opera glasses to stare at the tiny sprites on my screen to see if it's slightly different color in Scarlet and Violet, and there's no sort of outward noise. There's no sort of outward indication. Like in SOS, I was in the battle and I could see it. Out in the wild, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
If you're looking for a mark, you wouldn't see it anyways.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is just not, I don't care. I can't do other things while I am trying to do it. I can't just sort of mindlessly be watching a TV show and checking. I have to, like, actually, because my eyes aren't great. What?
For outbreaks?
Yeah.
I think you could. I mean, my brain is pretty off when I'm doing outbreaks.
You also have a bunch of people in a chat screaming when you've missed something. I'm watching TV and paying zero attention and dealing with my dogs, and I can't, like, if it's on the handheld mode, I can't see anything. I'm like, I can't. I can't see these. It's
Yeah,
too small.
I mean, I'm playing on a bigger screen.
It has to be on the big screen, which means I can
feel like
do
the only
nothing else.
The only time I'm in handheld mode is when I'm sitting on a plane, like throwing Pokemon away.
I use handheld all the time because I don't own a TV.
Yeah,
But at least I have an OLED.
Yeah, I have an OLED.
Oh,
It's
the
just
OLED's
too
good
small.
looking.
I just don't have that. I don't have that eyesight anymore. I don't have the ability to differentiate the shadows very well. A lot of the times, I'm like, is it a different color because it's in shadow? Is it a different color because it's in light? I don't know. I don't find massed outbreaks an enjoyable way to spend my time.
I mean, that's fine. Like, there are some people that just don't even care about shiny hunting at all.
Yeah, I only like certain shinies anyways. I only want specific things to be the slightly different color. And since they made breeding so much worse in this game, like, I can't even do that. I'm like, every time I try, within one set, I'm like, this is bad. I'm done. I'm out. I hate this.
Did any of you do the Miss Magius raids? Gosh, you guys are killing me right now. I did a handful. Again, to Instagram, you're a bunch of liars. Most people in general are liars. We had the whole Animal Crossing debacle where everyone lied about time traveling, and then I realized you just can't trust a single person because their definition of time traveling is some weird mental gymnastics of I only went backwards in time. That's not time travel. No, you time travel, that's fine.
If you changed the time, you were time traveling.
I decided to take the advice, like, you know how people, like, I'll post like, hey, here's Miss Magius, here's its moveset. Here are a couple. I suggested a couple Pokemon. Like, I didn't do like hard calcs, but I was like, Hisuian Samurott is a really good here because the water resists the mystical fire. It's dark type, right? Like, there's really nothing that it can do. Suggesting it in the possibility of, like, people are bad at raids. People are just bad at, like, I don't know what to bring. I'm just gonna like, it's fine. And when I say that, it's like, not everyone has the type chart memorized. Not everyone is good at Pokemon. Not everyone is good at video games. It's totally okay. Here are like 5 Pokemon, so you don't have to think too hard. You probably have a Grimmsnarl. You probably have, like, whatever. These are decent Pokemon. And there was a couple comments that were like, I use like Urshifu and I Swords Dance once and then I one-shot it. You're lying. I tested this. You are just flat out lying. One Swords Dance Adamant Max attack Urshifu with black glasses, or even Choice Band, which does more, does not one shot. It does. You're just literally lying in the comments. What does work is if it was if you were +2, which is the same Swords Dance, and then somebody else attack cheered. You didn't include that. That like, and I get it. Like, I could sit there and I could Swords Dance twice, but that's not what you said. You didn't say 2 Swords Dances. You said 1 Swords Dance. Like,
could have been misinformation. They could have not known that someone had attack cheered.
that's true. Or they could have just done one Miss Magius raid, and it just happened that Miss Magius was negative defense nature, and it worked once, and they did it once, and they rolled over. The point being is, I test so much, and then when I put up like actual raid builds of like, hey, this is what you should use against like a 7-star Typhlosion or whatever. That's because, like, I ran the calcs, and like, even if Typhlosion in the sun has Eruption and it's at 90% health, this Pokemon will survive 2 of those, right? Like, it's fine. I just wanted to call out that y'all are liars.
It's fine, except you're all are liars. You shouldn't be trusted.
You don't know
and
how
I
to
hate
test.
you all.
And just because you did it one time, like, doesn't mean that there still isn't 25 different natures and different like it's fine. You guys are just a bunch of liars. The Miss Maggie's raids are not as good as the Blissey raids. XL candy is better than rare candy until you get to like level 90, and then if you want to be really technical and really efficient with your candy, you'll like XL until you get to like level 90, and then you top off with rare candy. Because rare candy is better closer to 100 than it is early. But overall, XL candy is better because you can go from like level like 5 to 90 with like 30 XL candy, and that would take you 90, 85 regular rare candy. But I think the rewards for that were decent. I think overall it is worth losing your Blissey raids for the people who like to like not connect to the internet to keep raids. I think it is worth losing it because you do get the Outbreaks and the Mismagius. The other thing you can do is you can eat a ghost type sandwich, so you get more drops per Mismagius, whereas the Blissey was like, well, this Blissey's electric and this one's fire and this one's fighting, and it's like you can't eat one sandwich to like match that, but you can eat one ghost sandwich because all of the Mismagius are ghost, and you can get more raid reward drops there. So that's like convenient. So I think overall having like a pretty easy 5, for the record, like Mismagius is very easy. You don't need to like one shot. Like even if you don't one shot, it's a very easy raid. That being said, I think having a pretty easy 5-star raid and an Outbreak event is cool. And it doesn't end on Sunday. It ends on like Tuesday. They extended it a little bit more. I don't know if I like 4 Pokemon.
Yeah, that makes it a little less like a community day, a little harder to kind of show off what you've gotten and compare it to what everybody else is getting on social media.
Yeah, because like everyone was sharing Clefairy, and now it's like it feels a little like it's not the worst problem. It does not dilute, but it's like I only have like 4 Greavyards, and like 3 of them are in kind of like bad spots. Also, like Phantom was spawning on the water. No one wants to hunt on the water. That's like the worst. But like I don't know. I'm like with the Clefairy, I was like, oh, they're always gonna pick one Pokemon. So it was just interesting that they picked 4.
I mean, they're going all in for Halloween, as they do.
Yeah, so go get your crafty mark, unless you don't care about it. But the other small nice thing about these events is these Pokemon spawn in places they don't normally spawn. So this is like one of the only times you could get a like Greavyard with a sandstorm mark. Because if it spawned in the desert, that's the only time you could legitimately get it with a sandstorm mark, which is cool if you care about that kind of stuff. There's just like a lot of little things with these Outbreaks that maybe people don't think of, that other people who like, I don't really care about shinies, but I want a Greavyard with a sandstorm because I want it to be like the sand, like just cool stuff if you care about that.
I feel like that's a whole lot cooler than the events mark.
The crafty one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think Sandstorm is cooler than crafty. I had it thunderstorming when I was hunting Greavyard, and I was like, man, I would definitely take a Thunderstruck mark over crafty. And then all of a sudden it stops thunderstorming, and I was like, no, come back.
Set up rain again.
Final bit of Scarlet and Violet news here before we take a break. Hey, if you forgot, the physical release of the Scarlet and Violet Hidden Treasure of Area Zero is coming out Friday, November 3rd, this week. It's here with only half the DLC because it's not done.
Because it needs to be on shelves.
Yep.
I'm probably going to take my L here I said I really think the DLC is going to come out in November. I guess we have what? We have 2 more Fridays for it to come out. Because it can't come out this weekend. Because they would have already said it. So we have the 10th and the 17th. And then the 24th is obviously Thanksgiving. And then after that is technically December. So unless, in the next 2 days they announce a trailer, my expectation for the DLC is probably maybe I'm going to change. In my head, I'm going to change to December 8th or 15th. But I did, my whole argument was, there's no way they don't put something out before Black Friday. Technically, they're doing that.
They're putting something on shelves.
They're putting out something on shelves.
I didn't think in a million years they would put it out without the other part of the DLC, not on the cartridge. I understand it, but also, from a preservation / I don't have internet standpoint, that is wild to me. I understand why Fortnite or Apex Legend is on shelves at Target or Best Buy or Walmart, because grandma's going to walk in. She's going to be like, my son likes Fortnite. Wait, my grandson likes Fortnite. I'm going to grab it off the shelf. I understand that. The power of something being on the shelf is very important, and obviously there's nothing in the Fortnite case besides a digital code to redeem. I totally get it. But I would buy a game like Detective Pikachu Returns physically, so when the apocalypse happens and I'm underneath my desk and I have no internet, I can think to myself,
I can play this game.
I can play this game.
I don't want to, but I could.
I could pop this game in right now and see Tim
finish?
Goodman's iconic red hoodie, which is a line they used in that video game.
Yeah. Did you finally finish it?
I did. I really actually like the ending.
The ending?
The twist at the end was, it actually got me.
What twist?
We'd have to put a spoiler thing. What the bad guy was trying to do the entire time. Are we putting a spoiler warning?
Yeah, we can talk about this when we're on break, but I don't think that was a twist.
I mean, it's already been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, almost a month.
It will take them a month to finish that slow-moving game. So, let's be real. Some of the people have not finished that game.
Here's a huge spoiler warning for Detective Pikachu. Here you go. Once I got to the beginning of chapter 5, I was like, oh, I understand. He wants to merge with Mewtwo, just like in the movie. Because that's what happens in the movie. The bad guy merges with Mewtwo and then becomes Mewtwo. And I was like, this makes sense because earlier in the game, they had the Beedrills chasing down Mewtwo. So I expected going into that final chamber with Mewtwo being there and the guy being like, I'm plugging myself into Mewtwo and I'm going to become Mewtwo. That's what I expected. So when the gem turned into Deoxys and Deoxys...
See, that's where I get that wasn't a spoiler, because they told you a while ago that gem was a Pokemon from outer space. They clearly said the Aurora drop is a Pokemon from outer space.
I might have missed that.
Yeah, did they say it was a Pokemon? They said it was from outer space.
Yeah,
I remember them saying it was from outer space. That was the whole second chapter.
It will turn into a Pokemon.
So I just thought the gem had the power that he needed to merge with Mewtwo.
I see.
So when Deoxys busted out of the thing and Mewtwo and Deoxys started fighting, I was like, this game went from a 4 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10.
Oh, you're too high.
That fight scene was so cool.
Okay, but tell me, how did you feel in Chapter 4 when you were switching between the two perspectives?
I think that Chapter 4 would probably have been better if it wasn't for Chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall, Chapter 4 is the best storytelling chapter, but like the worst game chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lore of Harry and Pikachu was good.
Was
like,
really good.
It was super good. Seeing Pokemon grow up, like going back in time and seeing, oh, like you're a Bunnelby, but now in the current time you're a Diggersby. That was super cool. Like just seeing how Harry and Pikachu met was great. Like Harry booping Pikachu, that alone was like, oh my gosh, like this chapter is like worth it. But as like as a game part, like it felt like they didn't even try.
Yep.
Like the Pokemon move, like the ride Pokemon in Chapter 4 was Pangoro, which was like, oh, okay, you're doing something with Pangoro now. But it was like the worst strength puzzles in the entire. It didn't even like feel good to control.
Also, I kept waiting. Like a lot of the relationships they set up, I kept waiting for Pikachu to make the connection that this was the Pancham that you were protecting, and they would have a moment of more recognition, and that just never happens. They're like, for all I care, you're a completely different one. I'm like, but that was the origin story. Like you were there.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
There's no payoff.
There's no connection. It's like there's no payoff with the family either. I'm like, okay, so cool. The sister could understand Pikachu the entire time. And
nothing with the divorce.
Nothing with the divorce.
Nothing with the sister.
Nothing. I'm like,
when the sister was like, I understood Pikachu, again, I thought that was a good twist.
It wasn't a twist. I mean,
or like a little shock value.
It was like, oh, okay, confirmed. What does that mean? What does that do for the game? What are you telling us? Nothing. You're telling us nothing. Okay, they got a divorce, but he really didn't mean it, but I have his ring. Cool. What does that mean? What do you... And then you're just all a family at the end. And, like, there's no sort of, like... There's so much wasted potential in that, in so many things they set up, and we're just like, and drop. And we're going to drop that off to the side.
Like, I don't... If I would have spent $50 on it, for full disclosure, I was sent it for free from Nintendo. If I would have spent $50 on it, I would have still been happy with it. Because I do think the first Detective Pikachu is a better game, but I was happy with the payoff of the story, minus the things they introduced with probably the intention to answer, but then didn't.
Yeah.
Like, why did you, like... Somebody mentioned that, like, they do mention your wife in the first game, and I was like, "Oh, I believe you. I don't remember that, but I believe you." But like, confirmed, they do not mention that Tim has a sister. Like, so why? So they
why
clearly,
is she there?
They brought the sister in. Then they were like, "Okay, she understands Pikachu." It's like they just they were like, "We ran out of time. This part of the story didn't work."
How could they run out of time in 5 years? The thing is, I think the overarching story where you go from start to finish is a very good story.
Yes.
I think the problem is it takes you so long to get there, and they drop so many things that they just have no interest in following up on along the way. And from chapter 3 on, those chapters take so incredibly long to get through. And then I had to deal with the anime trope. We're staying behind and then we're coming back as villain. I'm like, stop it. Just cut to the Mewtwo Deoxys fight, do the really cool Pikachu Super Circle, everything blows up, and we're out. Edit. It took way too long to get here. I don't care about finding the 17th code. I don't need to find yet another key card. what building sets up stairways in the most fire hazardy way that has ever existed? I'm like, okay, I found the stairway. This will take me straight to 5 because that's how stairways work.
One of the coolest things they did is that they had like a... Hannah, did you finish the game?
I didn't.
Spoiler, Hannah. It gets real bad.
It sounds like it doesn't get that bad.
One of the coolest things they did, 1,000,000% super cool, is you walk into a room with like a dying Wooper. Wooper is literally on life support. And you have to, it's really obvious. There's like a little watering fountain or whatever. And
In the next room.
You have to like go over, get a cup of water, come back. You save the Wooper. And then in the next room, there's an electrode. And I was like, you know what would be cool? Is like you need to bring the Wooper with you so the electrode doesn't explode. And then they did that.
Yeah.
That was the puzzle. Like Wooper's ability is damp. So the electrode's like like you need to get into the room to get the key card, but the electrode's like threatening to explode. So once you rescue the Wooper, you bring the Wooper in to prevent. That is such a cool puzzle, even though it's like really simple because it's like, but like in a Pokemon world, that is the kind of puzzle you want.
Oh yeah.
Like if they just had like 5 more of those puzzles, like literally 2 of those puzzles in chapter 3 would have like been significant, like cut everything, add 2 Pokemon based puzzles, you have a better chapter.
Yeah.
Like
chapter 5
I understand why Pikachu went to
through.
jail in chapter 3. I get it, which is when you say that out loud, I understand why Pikachu went to jail. On paper, that sounds awesome. You're like, oh, Pikachu's a hardened criminal. Like every chapter makes sense of what they're trying to say. Like,
yep.
But every chapter felt
takes too long
and was not unique enough. So like that was my problem between chapter 3 and chapter 4. Is I actually think chapter 4 was completely ruined by chapter 3 because they were very similar. They were the same. They were the same gimmick. We need to break you apart.
Yeah, it
go
was
back
the same
and forth.
Gimmick. It sets up the end of the game, but not in a way that ultimately is all that interesting. Like they didn't focus on the more interesting aspect of the 2 characters meeting. And then like again, you're not arresting somebody at the end. Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't get to send anybody to jail, you're not solving a puzzle. You're not really you're doing the thing that like you just expected to be the way the game was ending. And again, it was written in a way like, who is this written for? Like, we didn't need to do this deduction scene because you've been spelling it out for almost 3 hours now. Yeah, I
think like Pikachu struggling with like mistelling the story was really interesting. Again, I think chapter 4 would have been better if it wasn't for chapter 3.
it just needed to happen faster, more interestingly, and a bunch of the fluff just completely cut because they weren't going to do anything with it anyways. Like they just don't do anything with any of the plot lines that are sort of on the sides. Even the newspaper stuff is very brief, very sort of fill in the story more, but they ultimately don't do anything with it. And then the game sort of ends and you're like,
why does Pikachu sniff the ground after credits?
Yeah, why?
I'm asking you. I thought you would know.
No. I have the same question. What was that weird cutscene at the end?
He just like sniffs the ground.
Following a trail? Don't know.
No, the ending of that thing, like everybody walks off screen, you focus in on Pikachu, Pikachu sniffs the ground and looks at the camera, and then you're kind of done, and I'm like, what? Did I miss an important step in this? Is it hinting that he likes coffee still? Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't
either.
know.
The whole reason I wanted to spoil the end of the game is so I could ask you that legit question of why did he sniff the ground? Okay. Hold on. We got to finish this news. The bundle is coming on November 3rd. There is a special pre-order bonus of 100 Pokeballs. This is not new. This is something they've been doing since like Black and White or whatever, where you get 100 Pokeballs if you pre-order it. The Pokemon Company is like a company that will like. I think most companies would not like to admit that their games have gotten delayed or whatnot if they don't have to, right? So I think for a lot of Nintendo fans in general, they will be like, look at Zelda. Zelda was delayed, like 3 times?
Yeah.
And that's okay. We just want it to be the best game ever. But there are plenty of times where they'll say, hey, this game is coming out at the end of the year, and then we don't know what that is. And maybe in their internal system, they wanted to get September, but it ended up getting pushed to November or December, right? Like, we don't know. I think it is safe to say, looking back, that both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Legends were delayed. But that was never said. Like, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl was probably supposed to come out on the 15th anniversary of Diamond and Pearl, which would have been like September 18th or something like that. And it was pushed to the November game slot. And Legends came out in January. And Legends should have came out before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was their bigger game. And if you look at sales numbers, like Legends did not do as good as Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, even though like it's a better game. It's a better game.
There was also only one of it.
There was also only one, but I bet if Legends would have came out before Black Friday, it would have sold better, hands down. But before the holiday, before Christmas, like if I think of myself as as an adult, obviously I'll just buy games whenever. But I think of myself as like even like a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, like without a job, and like if a Pokemon game came out in January, I gotta wait till my birthday. Like Christmas is over. I missed I don't get it. I got games twice a year. Birthday, Christmas, that's it. Until I started working a job. So I wonder if Area Zero or whatever what's the second one called?
Indigo Disc.
Indigo Disc. I wonder if their actual game plan was for this game to come out on November 3rd. Or even a week sooner. But that doesn't make any sense because then stores would be upset that, like, why are you releasing the DLC and then, like, no one's going to come in. So, like, the reason I say that is because I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast. Sometimes I rant on my Twitch streams about this because there's still the long-going argument. I'll make it real short. The long-going argument of, like, when I get a digital game, does it cost the same as the game at the store? And
how is that an argument?
Well, it's like, I'm not buying the case. I'm not buying the CD. I'm not buying the fact that like a bunch of these were packed up and shipped to the distributor. But the main reason they're the same price, like both games are $60, is because the second the digital game is cheaper, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, they're like, we don't want it then. If we can't compete with it, we don't want to waste the shelf space.
Yeah.
So you have to make the stores like willing to carry your game because their space on their floor is more valuable. And if they can't sell the game, then they're just wasting space where they could put more socks or ornaments or whatever else they want to put there.
Halloween candy.
You're right. So that's why digital games and physical games are the same price.
But also, let's be realistic that the case and the cartridge do not cost that much money. Like, we are not talking a plastic case and a plastic hunk that has a circuit board in it are $50,000 at this point in our lives. This stuff is cheap. It is not they will willingly take the 50-cent loss on a plastic case to get it in stores and sell it at the same price. Like this, they're not made out of gold. It's not that, we got nothing but plastic around us. This is not a heartbreak for companies to put out a physical copy.
So deals like this, deals like we're getting our Nintendo, Pokemon, Sony, Bethesda game onto store shelves is not something they just decide a week before.
Right. There's a marketing plan usually.
They have to make all these games. They got to store them in a warehouse. They got to then ship them on a boat or a plane and then move them into cars and trucks or trains. And then they got to sit in another warehouse to then get moved again to then sit in the back of Target's warehouse. Like, there's a lot going on. That means this game should have been done by now.
Yeah.
That's what this means. So I don't think anyone listening to this podcast doesn't think that the Indigo disc wasn't supposed to launch before Black Friday. And November 3rd seems like a good date, since they're putting out the physical copies of that on November 3rd, this weekend. And it's not here. But they never said that and this is why I brought up Diamond and Pearl and Legends. They never said those games were delayed. They were, though. Mm-hmm. They never said that the Teal Mask and Indigo Disc were delayed. They were.
Yeah.
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 You're telling me a summer festival game is coming out in September? Not summer?
I mean, we could have the argument that it's still technically summer.
That's true.
somewhere.
That's true. We could have that argument.
We won't. We'll leave that for Al.
Not that the quality got really that much better or at all better by delaying the first part. It still locks up. It's still frame ratey. They still had glitches, obviously. But I don't expect the graphics to get better when the Indigo disc drops. I don't expect the frame rate to get better at this point. I
expect it to be done at the quality that the other two parts have
Yep. That's where I'm at.
And then, that's fine. It's out. Most of you listening have probably already bought the DLC for the first part. The second part is part of that. You're going to play it. It's hopefully going to have something that is cool. I think a lot of people like Dynamax Adventures. I think a lot of people liked hunting old legendaries and having old Pokemon return. And we already saw online that people are very excited that a bunch of starter Pokemon are coming back. So there is some things to look forward to, which is exciting, but
There's story to look forward to. I'm excited about the story.
Yeah.
There's some story to look forward to.
The professor is maybe not dead. I still think the professor's not dead. Wait, why is this like we weren't all in that boat of the professor not actually being dead?
Nope, not in that boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But we'll see.
I can absolutely see them not having done something that drastic. Like, I do think it is the way they left it in the absolute realm of possibility that they are, as I thought when I first entered that area, they aren't dead, they are actually trapped. I can see them leaning into them still being trapped, and part of the thing is getting them out of whatever situation got them trapped in the first place. However you want to talk about imagination, dimensions, whatever they're going to finally do with Area Zero. Fingers crossed that they're actually going to finally answer any of those questions. I don't have a lot of hope that they will, but I really hope that they do. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it is a coin toss whether they stay or pull away. Like, I can see both sides of it, that they'll leave them dead, or they'll be like, nope, they were trapped, and you saved it, and it's a happy ending. Like, both, I think, are 100% possible for whatever they're going to do with these games.
Pikachu jumps in front of Kieran, sniffs the ground.
Yeah. I mean, so... Here's the thing. The only reason why they sniff the ground is to suggest that Pikachu is still possibly, like, I understand how detectiving works, which is like, you got that from the flashback. So it was like, just once again, sort of underlying that Pikachu could still be a detective, but just can't talk. I don't know. It's an ambiguous way to end that long game without sort of giving any answers. Like, I think it is their slight opening to say we'll do a 3, and please don't do a 3.
Do a 3 only if every episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yes. But please don't do a 3.
But what if they introduce like a Pichu and Pichu's Scrappy-Doo?
Then absolutely don't do a 3. Absolutely do not do a 3. No. Do not. Cut it.
I don't know. That sounds better.
Scrappy-Doo might be the worst cartoon character of all time.
Fair.
Y'all
Hands down.
didn't live through the Cousin Oliver end times like we had to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who. Well, I was gonna say I don't know who's picking up a double pack of Area Zero. I do know who. Parents who are parents and or collectors. And as somebody who is a collector, this one feels weird because the whole game isn't on there.
Yeah, this one's weird. This one is weird that they aren't including both. Like, it's a choice.
It's like buying Ultra Sun Ultra Moon, but it's actually just Sun and Moon, and you gotta like update.
We'll update it after.
Pretty much.
You're like, I finally added Blacephalon to my game.
I mean, yeah, the chances that the Indigo Disc are coming out in November, with this release, I think are off the table, really. I do think that is like, no.
Well, I just think they only have 2 Fridays to pick.
Yeah.
They have the 10th and the 17th, and unless there's a announcement this week, there could be definitely an announcement this week.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was January at this point.
Well, they do say winter of 2023, so it's
not even the winter; it's the 2023.
They are going to do at least the last week of December 2023 to get it under their promised date. That is one thing they are good about, is when they announce a year, by heaven, they're getting it in on that year.
Yeah. I think it's for sure this year. Like, they didn't say early 20, like when they were spot on with Legends, and we questioned that for a long time of like early 2023. What do you? You're actually doing January? That's weird. Why don't you take, like, your game looks very muddy. Why don't you take a little bit more time? They were like, nope. They stuck to that.
Is it. It's.
I'm just thinking about how late the Teal Mask was probably delayed. Thinking about they may have intended to release it in early summer, maybe June. And then
June
it came
or
out.
July would be my guess.
I feel like it's a late June, early July.
And then it came out multiple months after that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
if they intended to release it, the part 2 in November.
Or late October. Because I have a feeling they wanted it to be out a couple weeks before they would have released the double pack. To be like, get the hype up and then hype it up for when the double pack came out with the 2 new areas on it, which means it would have been probably released normal time, like last week or maybe this week. And they didn't hit it. So I have a strong feeling this is now a mid-December before Christmas thing. Like, they want to hit it at the early part of December to build up hype while parents are buying gifts for their kids.
I mean,
has
there ever been a Nintendo game that came out on Black Friday? I don't think so. It's always been the week before. Like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Super Smash Brothers, Wii U. Like I remember they came out on the same day, but that was like a week or two before Black Friday. Ultra Sun Ultra Moon was also like 2 weeks before Black Friday. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee was before Black Friday.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
I can't think of any just game that was like
I can't
Black
think of
Friday
any games that are actually released on Black Friday. Like, there are deals on Black Friday, but I can't think of actual. Also, Friday's not a big release date around the holidays, anyways.
Call of Duty is usually before Black Friday.
Yeah. I cannot. Of course, then again, the other problem of releasing a game on Black Friday is your announcement will be swamped by the bargains and deals on Black Friday.
Overshadowed.
So it's not like a great time to do that anyways. To be like, hey, we're releasing this game on Black Friday, but you don't care because you're looking at what's on sale.
Right. It's like, well, these games are $20. This game is $60.
Yeah, like you're just not.
But the reason you release it before is because,
right,
you're going to get it for your kid. But like if you don't know it's coming out until that day, you're gonna miss that news.
And now we kind of have to block off Friday through Monday. That whole weekend is now gone because of Cyber Monday now. So like
honestly, the whole week. At this point,
yeah, the whole week anyways is bad. But like you can sometimes get away with like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving announcing stuff, and people are like, "Cool." I haven't really started planning my Black Friday stuff yet, but once Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, FYI, hits, and then Black Friday through Cyber Monday, that's just a wasteland of bargains. That is just a complete wasteland, because if you didn't go physically shopping on Friday, you are scouring the internet for what could be on sale on Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we got some Cafe Remix news and some Pokemon Go news. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Where's this Cafe Remix news? So technically, Cafe Remix is 3 years old, but since they technically renamed it to Remix, they're 2 years old now. Oh, they say it here in the article. It's been 2 years since Cafe Mix received its major update and title change to become Cafe Remix. You can now celebrate a special anniversary that's filled with Pokemon Friends bonus items and new gameplay modes. Latios, Latias, Koraidon, and Slow Cooking. Put your puzzling skills to the test in the new slow cooking mode, which you must clear 3 puzzles in a row using a limited number of moves. Select from a group of 6 puzzles. Choose any of the 3 of your Pokemon partners to assist you. The total number of moves are shared between all stages, and the game will end when you clear your 3rd puzzle or run out of moves. You can join the slow cooking event and recruit Koraidon to your staff until Thursday, November 9th. By logging in anytime during this time, you can get an express delivery ticket. Koraidon isn't the only legendary Pokemon making its appearance. Latios and Latias are in celebration outfits and will appear in special deliveries until Monday, November 20th. There is also a special login bonus for you to enjoy. Log in for 10 days before Sunday, November 12th, and you can earn 7,000 golden acorns. There's also a Fido event from Thursday, November 9th to Monday, November 20th. During this time, you can recruit Fido in its celebration outfit to your staff. Not only that, but Quagsire will appear in deliveries. You'll be able to take part in Pokemon Cafe Remix Challenge to earn 14,000 golden acorns. Happy anniversary, Cafe Remix.
I find the artwork for that game so charming. I wish I liked it.
Right? It is some of the most adorable Pokemon artwork of anything ever.
It is.
And I want to like the game. I've tried to play it on my phone. I've tried to play it on my Switch. I have tried to get invested. I love the artwork.
I love the artwork. And here's the thing. I can look online and look at the artwork and literally get a better experience than playing the game.
Hannah with another back-of-the-box quote. I want to like this game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, what a lot of Pokemon fans feel about a lot of Pokemon games. I want to like
this game.
Yep. It's so cute, though.
It really is.
Not a game for me. It still exists. Who knows for how much longer? Is it?
If this game made it to year 4, I would be shocked.
We're on year 3, technically.
That's year 2, according to them.
Technically.
Yeah, it's a game. It came out June 24th, 2020 was when it came out. So
yeah, it's a rough start date.
Look, we've talked about this before. If you think Pokemon Go is a scam, if you think raid passes are too expensive, if you think incubators are not worth it, check out the acorn prices in Pokemon Cafe Remix. You'll be shocked. Hey, speaking of Pokemon Go, there's a new event coming. There's the Halloween event happening right now, but you probably know that if you're playing it. Tadbulb makes its illuminating debut during the Festival of Lights. That is happening soon. When I say soon, I mean November 7th through November 12th. Tadbulb, which is based on a tadpole, and its
is a light bulb.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's what its name means? Crazy. And its evolution Bellybolt will make their Pokemon Go debut. You will get 2 times Stardust for hatching, 2 times Candy for hatching. Incense will last twice as long, not your daily incense though. Timed research will be available throughout the event. You can get an exclusive avatar item. It's a shirt. And then event Pokemon, which is probably Tadbulb. Pokemon frequently spawning in the wild for this event will be Pikachu, Vulpix, Ponyta, Magnemite, Voltorb. Notice the amount of Gen 1s. Chinchou, Mareep, Slugma. Just a reminder, Slugma is a Gen 2 Pokemon. Everyone thinks it's Gen 3. Electrike, Litwick, Morlul, and Tadbulb. Eggs will be Elekid, Magby, Dedenne, Morlul. If you have the Incense on, you will get Alolan Geodude, Hisuian Voltorb, Slugma, Volbeat, Illumise, Blitzel, Litwick, Litleo, Dedenne, Morlul, and Tadbulb. There will be exclusive bonuses for trainers in India. If you're in India, you can look forward to a special collection challenge that awards Stardust XP encounter with Tadbulb. You will also earn twice the amount of candy for catching Pokemon during this event. There will also be a raid day on November 11th. I take it back. They're going to release the DLC on November 10th because they always put everything on the same weekend. They didn't say what Pokemon's do we know what Pokemon is this raid day?
I think so. Lots of things have leaked all the way up through January. So I'm starting to get it confused.
Okay, what are people saying? Should I be excited for November 11th? Should I take that day off? Is it just Lugia and Ho-Oh?
Don't remember. Let's see.
When in doubt, it's just Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Honestly, yeah. But it looks like raid day. I forget whether that might be the Garchomp Mega Garchomp raid day.
I guess
I know
Garchomp
that
is
that's
popular
coming
enough
out.
to have its own day.
Also, the Mega Garchomp is weirdly an amazing shiny.
Yeah.
Garchomp
It's
on
like-
its own is not.
It's like they did the same thing with Gengar. They made
Yeah.
Mega Gengar
Yeah.
super good.
But yes, that one is coming out on a raid day only, and I think that might be it.
I guess that would make sense. I didn't hear that, but I guess Garchomp is very popular. So that's cool, I guess. It's super cool that like India gets something. I feel like there's always like Brazil, India,
China.
and well, they got their own problems there, but yeah. Usually when like you think of events, it's always like, oh, all the events are usually in Japan or America.
They're starting
so
to have others.
Yeah.
like-
so
The Festival of Lights, the Diwali celebration was around before. I'm excited that the glowing effect is coming back for Pokemon at nighttime. That was the thing they did, I think, last year when they introduced it, maybe 2 years ago, where some of these Pokemon will actually sort of glow and light up at nighttime. And also right before the Festival of Lights, they have the Dia de Muertos event happening again, where they're adding more of the flower crowns that I can't pronounce no matter how hard I try to the Cubone line.
I can pronounce them just fine, Hannah. Come on.
Oh, go for it. I'm excited. How do you pronounce it, Steve?
I don't have them in front of me.
Oh, but look them up. We got time. We're in the second half. We can go.
Yeah, we got like, oh, here we go. Cubone and Marowak are wearing the Shampaskia Shield crowns. Yeah, that was probably spot on.
No. Japanese
you
and
wanna give it a
Spanish
try?
use the
No,
same
I
vowels.
don't speak Spanish. I speak French.
Japanese and Spanish use the same vowels, so it's something like senpa sushil, but that's probably not right because there's an accented vowel in there, and
the
I
old
don't know
accented
for
U.
sure.
Yeah, I don't. They didn't teach me that in Milwaukee public schools. They didn't teach me the accent U. Not sure what that's doing. Yes, that event we didn't even talk about that event. So the that will start with the Cubone and the Marowak with the flower crown. That will start. It's only 2 days. It's November 1st through November 2nd, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Lures will last 90 minutes. Incense will last 90 minutes. Twice the catch candy. Additional transfer candy. And then Duskull is making its return with the crown. Cubone makes its debut with the crown. Roselia is featured in this event, Greg.
It's only 1 day, though, so.
2 days. It's 2 days.
Technically 2 days. Do we know if... Well, I'm assuming you'll be able to evolve the Duskull again because the picture shows Dusk Noir, but there was like something where the event was over. You weren't able to evolve the Duskull wearing the flower crown. You could only evolve it during the event.
I don't know if they fixed that.
Niantic fix something? Whoa, slow down.
Sometimes they fix things like that.
Whoa, wait a minute.
And also, the additional transfer candy is only for trainers in Latin America and the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It looks like I can evolve those Duskull now, so I'm pretty sure they fixed it.
Okay. I mean, that's like not the worst thing to be like, you can only evolve this during the special event. That's like, I get it. Kind of weird, but okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up we didn't talk about was the party play. Did you party play, Hannah?
I did, with someone who hadn't played Pokemon Go in years.
All right, tell us about it. Tell us about the party play. Also, maybe for people who don't know what party play is.
Yes, so Party Play is a new feature where you can connect with friends in person, and you can see them on your map, and you can go after different challenges where you are kind of catching a certain number of Pokemon or getting a certain number of great or excellent throws, winning a certain number of raids, just reaching that goal with the other people in your party. You can have up to 4 people in your party. What I really like is that if you both say yes to sharing your location and seeing each other on the map, when you walk away, the trainer actually walks away from the other person on the map. So it's actually the location. It's not just everyone gathered around your player in game. I had, this was while my ankle was still healing, so I had my friend stay where she was, and I walked a block away, and it took a minute, but eventually the trainers started walking away from each other. That was something I wasn't sure it was actually going to do. It's fun. There aren't great rewards. And it takes a long time to finish almost any of the challenges, I want to say. Some of them go quicker. But if you're trying to finish the research for the challenges and get all those evolution shirts, it's a lot. I'm not sure when I'm going to finish that party play challenge. The most exciting part of it for me was running up against the clock at the end, because you have no idea when the party play is going to end once you get close to the end of the hour, because the party only lasts 1 hour. It gives you a warning at, I think, 10 minutes, and so you know that you have 10 minutes left. You kind of want to finish the challenge you're working on before that 10 minutes. My friend and I had chosen the catch 30 different Pokemon in or before the challenge ended. And it's the Halloween event, so spawns are pretty limited. We were at 28 Pokemon. I was trying to figure out where the heck we were going to get the last 2 Pokemon from. There was 1 raid, so I could get a Meowth and make that 29. And so while I was working on that 1 raid, I was instructing my friend on how to force spawn a Smeargle and catch a Smeargle before the end of the hour. So that part was fun. It would have been nice if we could have seen the countdown, though. I'm hoping they actually add a timer or an extension to the time of the party play, because not knowing exactly when the party is going to end makes it hard to do those challenges right at the end of the hour.
Yeah, I have, like, on the Vaporeon shirt, which is the second one. I like party play. I actually think it's a really cool feature. I think that if you play Pokemon frequently with somebody, it just makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just an extra thing that you can do. That being said, the rewards are terrible. They're it's like catch 30 Pokemon with nice throws for like 2 raspberries.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what Niantic is thinking reward-wise for that, because none of the rewards are good. Even like win 2 raids, hatch 3 eggs, walk 5 kilometers. None of the rewards for any of that stuff is good. I know I saw some people be like, why is it only an hour? But my question is, why do you want it longer? Like if when I finish a challenge with a friend, and it's like, get 30 excellence, walk 3 kilometers, do 2 raids. We're disbanding the party, and then we're recreating it, and we're getting different challenges. Like, we're not doing, like, I'm not walking 5 kilometers in Mall of America. Also, there are no raids right now, so we can't do that. Also, you're bad at excellent throws, so I am not going to sit here and try to 30 excellent throws myself. We're like, I don't know why there's an hour time limit. It seems like somebody just sat in a room and was like, we should put a time limit on this. What should it be? 60 minutes?
It feels like the same. It's the same time limit when you have to reset your Go device. Like, they just picked an hour and they've stuck with an hour.
They just picked an hour with, like, no
board.
rhyme or reason.
Like, hey,
but, like,
it's going to be an hour, and that is our time.
But there's no reason to continue it. I guess that's like my pushback of like the people that are like, well, it should be longer than an hour. Why? It doesn't give you better rewards the more you do. It doesn't get harder. Like, if anything, like, if it did get harder and the rewards got better, then yes, I understand. But like, there's no penalty for being like, oh, all these challenges are not good, so I'm just gonna quit, restart, go again. Because like right now, the only incentive you have is complete 100 party play challenges to get all 4 shirts. That's cool. Like if you like Eevee, that's cool. But if you're trying to get through 100 as quick as possible, walking 5 kilometers is not as quick as possible. Like catching 20 Pokemon with Nice Throws is significantly easier, especially if there's 2 or 3 of you. So, like, in my head, we're just, okay, out of these 3, what is the easiest? Great. Okay, the next 3, all of these are bad. Quit the party, restart the party, let's go again. And again, that doesn't mean, like, the concept of the feature is bad. I think the concept of getting together and having this overall goal while you're playing is really cool, but it feels very conservative in the sense of like, we don't want this to be too powerful, we want this to be safe, we don't want people to feel stressed out, but the rewards aren't that good. Like, there is something really cool here, and I think Niantic purposely made it very dull because they're still trying to figure out how I literally think they're testing to see like, how fast can people do the challenges? Which challenges are people doing? How long are actually people staying in a session? Are people quitting the session, like me, to force new rerolls? I think we're literally just beta testing this. I don't think Niantic actually knows what the rewards should be, which is fine. Like Mega's launched, and that was just bad. But that was bad because it was asking for money and it was asking for time. And this is like, you're playing Pokemon. Like, it's not asking you to do something you're not already doing. So, like, I'm just curious of what this looks like in 6 months. Because I think the foundation is good.
I hope they do keep building on it. It seems like since they gave that interview earlier in the year, they have been kind of trying to introduce new feature after new feature after new feature, and this is the one that seems the most polished, but it still doesn't feel done. And it's also still buggy in a couple ways. I don't know if those have been fixed. There are some people whose battle teams or saved tags have been getting completely erased just by being in a party. That really scared me when I heard that. I used tags a lot, but it does feel a lot more polished. This feels like a core feature of the game, almost.
It was cool. Like, when I was in a party, seeing each other in the map was really cool, and then we decided to, like, coordinate outfits, and that was, like, cool to see. And I tested how far I could walk away, and I got pretty much, like, a mile away before it was, like, you can't do this anymore.
Wow.
And then it was like, hey, you're too far. And then it was like, we're going to kick you. And then I walked a little bit closer and it was like, fine. And then I was like, okay, can I push past a mile? And it eventually was like, you're too far away, and kicked.
I wonder how it would be to gather a group of 4 friends together just in the middle of kind of a not too busy area, but with plenty of Pokestops, and just have everybody go in a different direction and see people on the map.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody has tried that. Yeah, so I think it's really cool. It would be cool if, like, on community days, they would have community day specific challenges. Like, let's just say it was like Squirtle, and it was like, catch 30 Squirtle, and then your encounter is the glasses Squirtle and not a regular Squirtle. Like, stuff like that would be really cool. Or maybe if the challenges did get harder the longer you were in a session, they could start giving incubators or star pieces or incense or something.
Yeah.
That's asking a lot from Niantic because, you know, they like to nickel and dime you. But there's not, again, going back to my previous point, there's not a reason to stay the full hour. Like, nothing changes. Like, your rewards don't get better. The time limit is just,
and if they keep the time limit, then making the rewards better as you get further on would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the time limit would only make, But I guess my only the only reason the time limit somewhat makes sense is if you were at a community day and you actually met new people to play with and you partied up and you went separate ways, and maybe it was like local, so you like lived in the neighborhood of the park, and so like you forgot to, because you can turn your phone off and put it in your pocket and the party still stays. Like when I was walking a mile away, like I was technically driving, but when I was like driving and I was like a mile away and I like checked my phone, I was like, oh, are we still connected? Oh, like I'm still connected. The only thing I think of is it's just like a security precaution of like, we're forcing the session so the people you met at community day who didn't forget to disconnect and you didn't forget to disconnect now can look at the map and be like, oh, they live here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the one other thing I would ask for with this feature is that on the screen you go to start a party, I want to see my previous parties there. I want to be able to go and look back and compare how many challenges I completed between the different parties. That wouldn't work for you, Steve, since you are ending a party every time you complete a challenge, it sounds like.
Sometimes if they're easy, I'll keep going.
But I want to be able to see. I want to be able to compare, and I want to be able to think about that. But right now, it's just kind of the most blank screen you will ever see anywhere in Pokemon Go.
Also, like, I don't know how Niantic did it, but like joining a party is like super easy. Like, I feel
this is smooth.
It like joins, like I've never had any problem joining it. Like,
and there's no lag when anyone is catching anything. The challenges just stay up to date immediately.
Yeah. I think there's so much potential here, but it's Niantic. So I also would be surprised if in a year we're just like, yeah, you walk 5 kilometers, you get 2 raspberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I think this is cool, and I hope that whatever data they're grabbing from the last 2 weeks it's been out, they can say, here is a new party. Like, here's a 30-minute session, here's a 1-hour session, here's a 2-hour session. Things get harder, or the rewards are up there, or the 2 hours is a lot harder than the 30 minutes. I do hope that there's something that they can do with it. Also, we didn't even talk about this. Being in a party is so worth it for in-person raids.
Yeah. There is that.
The party blast, or whatever it's called, is so powerful. Greg's like, what are you talking? So
Greg
when you're
hasn't joined a party.
Is it actually called Party Blast, or is that a thing that you're saying?
I think it is. No, I think
I'm not
I
sure
think that's what it's called.
I think it is called Party Blast. So when you're in a raid, this doesn't work for remote raids. So like if you're in a party and your party friend gets invited to a remote raid, you don't know that that's happening. But if your party friend joins a raid locally, it will automatically send you an invite and say like, oh, so-and-so is in the raid. Would you like to join? And then you can join it. That doesn't waste your like 5 invites or whatever. So you can still do your 5 invites. So when you're locally in a raid with somebody in a party, in the lower left-hand corner, there's your Party Blast button.
It is called Party Power.
Oh, Party Power. Party Blast sounds way cool.
Niantic,
I know you listen to the show. Rename it to Party Blast. That sounds awesome. Greg is, if you're watching the YouTube, if you're listening to the audio version, Greg's face is very sold on this.
No, Party Blast is a terrible. The connotations of that, just really think through that. Just after the show, take some time to just really think about what you've been saying for the last 10 minutes. Just really take a moment.
I think it sounds great.
Again, I'm just take some time post-show to sit down with those thoughts and examine them.
We got to
a
make it
little
to
bit.
the end of the show. I think I know how it works now. I think it's based off your fast move. So if you have a Pokemon with... It's just like GBL. If you just have a Pokemon with a really fast move, the party meter fills up way quicker versus a Pokemon that doesn't. Because I was like, why is my friend getting their party power way quicker than me? Maybe it's because I'm a higher level or they're using like lower CP Pokemon. They were just using Pokemon that had like fast moves. It fills it up quicker.
It says on the blog post that more party members means that it charges the party power faster.
I've only been in a party with one other person.
Yeah,
but
me too.
They were getting their party blast way quicker than me. Like they were able to do it. Like I did it the most during like Darkrai, I think. Yeah, Darkrai. So I brought Mega Gardevoir as my lead. Because, you know, I'm a pro Pokemon GO player here, bringing my Mega Pokemon to boost fairy types. No, it was Guzzlord. And I never got to hit that button because Guzzlord would be dead before my meter would fill. And I was just using Mega Gardevoir. Obviously, Guzzlord super weak to fairy. But they were able to use it like 2 times. And I was like, why are they... I want to hit the party button, but mine's not filling up. And then when I was doing Darkrai, I didn't Mega Gardevoir. I think I Mega like Lopunny or something. And then I was able to hit the button and I noticed it was filling a lot faster. So I think there is something based off like your fast move. Again, I don't know if you are lower level, it feels faster for you to make it feel like you're doing something. Regardless. That move does a lot of damage, and it's great. It does make in-person raids with less people worth doing. Like I think one of the complaints you hear is like, oh, this raid took the entire time because there was only 3 of us or 4 of us, and it's just us all staring at each other, tapping our screen because there's no other strategy than that. So getting through that quicker feels good, feels better.
Yeah, parties benefit raids in a big way. There's also the fact that if someone in your party is invited to a remote raid, they can basically share that invite with the whole party.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone can join that remote raid, which is new and very cool.
So, Niantic said their mission was to make in-person more rewarding and better. Being in a party and doing raids is it's arguably better.
It is.
And it doesn't cost anything. You just have to connect. So, I think, and again, I think that goes back to Niantic's initiative of trying to help people form a community, because if you are at a community day, you kind of and there are a bunch of raids, which gosh, please crank the raid meter up for community days. I'm begging you. I just want to like break up the monotony of catching with like a couple raids. It does encourage you to maybe reach out to people, or those people who came to community day without any friends, to be like, maybe I should be in a party. Like, I don't have to actually stand near them. I can kind of walk pretty far away and still get the benefits. There's only, like, so much Niantic can do to be like, we're giving you tools. You got to use the tools. I get it. I mean, maybe you don't want to ever talk to anyone ever, and you just want to put your headphones in and play Pokemon Go by yourself. Totally cool.
Totally fair. Normally doable.
But yeah, I like it. I think everyone just wants better rewards, slight changes.
I also want there to be a medal. I was really hoping there would be a medal for however many. No, there's
no
not.
medal for it? Oh.
Well, call it all off.
Yeah, why even bother doing it? It's a bad feature. Don't even use it. Never mind. No medal, no deal. All right, well, I think that's our show for today. Wow. actually said something positive about Niantic this episode. Crazy. We will be back next week. I'm sure. Has there been a 7-star raid recently? I'm sure they'll announce a 7-star raid as soon as I post this episode. It'll probably be like Typhlosion or Samurott or something. I don't know. They did Decidueye. So you would think they would have to do Typhlosion and Samurott eventually.
Did we not have
You'd
Samurott
think.
yet?
We had the regular Samurott.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the regular Samurott.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Typhlosion makes the most sense because
Spooky season.
spooky season, I guess. You
But
could
it's
maybe
already
make the
past
same
spooky
against
season,
Samurott
so-
because it's dark, I suppose. One's ghost. If I was to bet, it would be Typhlosion. If I was a betting man, Typhlosion would be next. Also, maybe they just don't care because, like,
They
did
have
Miss
to
It'll be
Magius.
after Halloween.
Yeah, it's after Halloween, and they already did Miss Magius, so.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't do a 7-star and Mass Outbreaks at the same time.
Yeah.
So what's happening on the 10th? Because that's when it's going to hit. Isn't everything happening on the 10th? That's when it's going to happen.
Yeah. A lot of things are happening on the 10th.
Yeah, that is
But,
absolutely going
it-
to be the
I don't-
Typhlosion.
I was going to say there's no way the DLC could come out the 10th because that's the Latin America regional tournament.
Oh,
But also,
It
that's
absolutely
exactly when
could.
it's coming out.
do you remember when Let's Go Pikachu, Let's
Yes.
Go Eevee came out? And
Yes.
the next day was the London regional tournament, Force Ultra Sun, Ultra
Yep.
Moon.
Yep.
Actually, I take it all back. DLC on the 10th.
It's going to be on the 10th. They just couldn't hold the street date of their cartridges.
Yeah, they're lining all up. They love to do a huge, and of course they would do that to like the Latin America people. Finally get like a decent regional, and they're like, no.
Nah. Guess what?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. So, if there is a raid event announced, I will do some builds on Monday. YouTube video, ideally, hopefully go up on Tuesday, and then obviously raids would be Thursday, Friday. For that stuff. So if there is a raid. Anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, what was I don't remember what we were talking about. Gosh, I had a good YouTube question before the break, and now I can't remember.
Why does Pikachu sniff?
Why does Pikachu sniff? No, don't answer that question on YouTube. I don't want answers to that.
Yeah, you do. Good. Remember, Monday Twitch stream. Answer the question: why does Pikachu sniff?
No.
Cheers.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Here's my question: if you're watching on YouTube and you have to leave a comment for interaction, please and thank you. Give me a Pokemon that you think would be a good 7-star raid that isn't like Typhlosion or Samurott, because we already know that those are like eventually coming. There's no way they would just do Decidueye and then call it quits.
We say that, and yet, Ho-Oh-Lugia is the obvious answer.
Ho-Oh-Lugia. Yeah.
Ho-Oh-Lugia. It's written in stone. When
Somebody's
in
gonna
doubt,
say, like,
Ho-Oh-Lugia.
Ogre Pond, and that doesn't like make a lot of sense. They're not going to put like a brand
No.
new legendary
No
in
way.
7 stars. It would have to like be like thematic, like lean up with like pair up with something. Like what I would want to see is like 7-star Delibird for Christmas. That would be kind of cool, and I'd be very curious of what moves it would have because they made 7-star Pikachu like kind of hard. But I just said that, so you can't say 7-star Delibird for Christmas anymore. I just
you
said
can.
it. So what Thanksgiving? There we go. What 7-star Thanksgiving would you want?
Flamingo.
There we go. Because I already just did Christmas. We'll probably do this question again for
Yeah,
Christmas.
I have my Christmas pick, but there isn't. I will say Flamingo. I'm choosing Flamingo for my Thanksgiving. Large
7-star
bird.
Flamingo.
Why not? It's a large bird.
Oh, okay. When you put it like that.
It's a single evolution large bird. Done and dusted. I will save my Christmas
Okay,
holiday
save your Christmas pick. Save your Christmas pick.
For later.
All right. All right. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Greg. We will see you all next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Keep on looking out for the Indigo Disc, because who knows when that's actually going to be released. Super effective.
Yeah. Good luck. November 10th.